and they pick out dogs and they bring them in there and they sell them. And they said it's decreasing the number of, shelter dogs. And people are not complaining about it. They don't mind it at all. If you get out of your mind that you have to have a certain breed with papers, if that's all you worry about.
Well, some people, the only thing they'll ever adopt is a pedigree. I like a mutt.
I mean, what's the difference? I don't, I think your wife likes pedigrees, right?
Well, she did. I don't know how important it is now, but, the Westies, any dog that we've had, you have to understand, has always been a pedigree. They were pure Westies or Weimaraners, okay? My son, when he first became a cop, found a pit bull mix. And he took it home, but unfortunately his hours were such where it was up to my wife and I to take care of the dog, and it really wasn't fair. But this, I have to tell you, this dog was so friendly. She was a puppy, and all she wanted was to play. She had so much energy, I couldn't keep up with her.
Yeah, it's true. Well, I don't see the big deal of a pedigree, where you need the papers for them and all that. I mean, they have pedigree dogs in the shelters. They may not have papers for them say that they're pedigree, but you can tell if they're pedigree or not, and if they're not, big deal. Probably mutts, I would think, are probably much healthier, stronger dogs that would live a longer life, because the pedigree dogs are inbred, and they have more problems with them. They're, from what I know,
just like humans, huh?
Yep.
I watched a couple of specials on King Tut, and he was he was married to his sister.
Not a healthy thing to do, from what I gather.
Well, no, you see, they wanted to keep the bloodline pure, but in many cases, all they were doing was keeping the disease pure, because a lot of these royal families were inflicted with diseases, and by marrying sisters or cousins or whatever, they were just keeping the disease localized,
which is good. Keep it in the family, don't spread it.
Well,
what else did we have of interest? The movie killer in where was that? In Colorado?
In Colorado, got life. We know that. That was last week.
Yep. Couldn't get a unanimous decision on that. But I think Marc and I both are opposed to the death penalty. So that's okay with us.
I firmly believe that, there's always the possibility of sending an innocent person to the gas chamber or giving them a lethal injection. Yeah. And, once you make a mistake like that, you just can't take it back, you know. And when you think about it, in many cases, life without parole and solitary confinement is a hell all unto itself anyway.
They have shows at CNN about death row and people that are convicted wrongly, and they find they find out what was done wrong, and they get them released.
Well, they have Amnesty International organizations who take up their case, but that's few and far between. But so far, they've been rather successful in proving quite a few people innocent.
Yeah, they're showing, like I said, CNN every week. It seems like they're proving somebody who's innocent that what it was sitting in death row, as they call it. This is what I remember. I was listening to a TV show, not a TV show, a radio show, driving to the hospital yesterday, and they were talking about. They were just playing some games of things that could happen, and one possibility is Bernie Sanders may go independent.
No, you had mentioned that to me last week, and Bernie Sanders said that he would not do that. He will not split the Democratic Party.
Well, they were talking about him splitting the Democratic Party and Donald splitting the.
No, that's sheer talk. There's no truth to any of that. I think it's a lot truer that.
I don't just say it's true. It's just one of the scenarios. They were going over different scenarios.
Yeah, well, somebody might have said it, but that doesn't.
No, that's what they're talking about, scenarios.
It doesn't necessarily mean.
I didn't say it's going to happen. I said scenario.
Bernie is not even thinking about that. Because
we don't know what he's thinking. So.
Okay. He said it. He said that he would not. That's why. You know, Donald, on the other hand, made a whole big deal about not raising his hand on the stage when they asked about supporting the Republican nominee. And he said, well, you know, for all indications, it's going to be me. He says, I don't know who else it might be. So, you know, he doesn't swear to anything.
Well, this way he can't get caught in a lie. But just think about what would happen if all four of them would run.
Well, you'd have somebody being elected with the lowest plurality ever in the history of this country.
Yeah.
So I know it's not going to happen. Okay, the only one who it might happen to would be Donald, because he's got such an inflated ego. Okay.
The problem with Donald, and he's a problem for Hillary and everybody else, he draws Democrats as well as Republicans. He doesn't just draw Republicans, because a lot of people think he's not a Republican anyway. If you listen,
I know.
If you listen to him 5 years ago, he was extremely liberal. And their argument is, how did he make such a radical turn?
Well, according to Donald, you know, the Mexicans love him. He employs them all. They clean his hotel rooms, you know.
Whatever. That's a good job for Mexican.
Yeah, that's a prejudiced thing to say.
It is. It's a fact of life.
Well, you're assuming that all of them are uneducated and illiterate.
I'm not assuming anything. We're talking about illegal immigrants who are coming in.
Well, you know, I almost hate to say this, but Rubio said something at the debate about Hillary, explaining to him about living from paycheck to paycheck, talking about because Hillary and Bill are fairly well-to-do, you know, but Rubio didn't do his homework because Hillary's mother was a maid. Hillary's mother cleaned hotel rooms. She didn't come from money.
Well, did he say she did? I don't even know.
He was alluding to the fact that Hillary was trying to explain what it's like living from paycheck to paycheck. Mm-hmm. Rubio said, I lived it, without even realizing that so did Hillary and her mother and her family.
Yes, they lived it also.
And so did Bill. Okay, Bill's real father died when he was 3. His stepfather was an alcoholic and a drunk, okay, who abused his mother. They never had much of anything. The only thing that the two of them had was that they were brilliant, and they got scholarships, and they made something out of their education, okay?
No, before you said what I said about the Mexicans, it's a good job for them cleaning the hotels.
No, you did.
I said what I said. You said it was prejudicial.
Yeah.
I have friends of mine who came in as immigrants to the United States as doctors and a whole different other...
I know, and they weren't allowed to practice. I know that.
And they wound up getting jobs.
Whatever honest job they could get.
Which could be cleaning hotels. I have a friend of mine who's from Poland, and he was a physicist.
Well, you see, that's where this country is wrong.
He works as a clerk in the air freight industry.
Well, I'm agreeing with you. That's where this country is wrong, because you have people coming in who are engineers and computer analysts and doctors, okay, scientists, well educated in the country that they are coming from, but because they have a problem with the English language, until they, gain a handle on the language, they're forced to do menial work.
And I know, like the one that I know, by the time he knows the language well now, but he can't go back to this field.
He's too old.
His degree is not recognized in the United States.
Well, because it was too long ago, and he's too old, and there are too many changes since then,
Which is a real shame, because he's a brilliant man, and I know a few others like that.
Hospitals are replete with people who should have been nurses and doctors, and instead they're orderlies.
Yeah. I ran into an orderly the other day.
Iran, the country? Iran?
Iran orderly, yeah.
Iran orderly, okay.
I ran into an orderly in a hospital, and my wife wasn't feeling well or something. And
Matthew!
And she started giving the people...
it's almost September, Matthew.
Ladies and gentlemen, my son is here, and the minute I mentioned that, my son ran away.
Come on, Matthew, you want to say hello to the audience? Maybe we have one listener. Come on.
I can hear you.
You were saying?
Yeah, what was I saying now? That's
Mary and an orderly in the hospital.
And an orderly said, was telling her to try this. It's a holistic form of medication that she used to give. She used to give to her patients, and then she sent me to the people that I used to know, and I forgot where she was from. Because I don't think she's supposed to talk about that she was whatever.
But isn't that what you do? Don't you pass around the marijuana and say, you pass it around to the people in the hospital and you say, this is good for nausea, and if you do it this way, you won't have any ill effects.
No,
so you're doing the same thing.
I do that in the
air freight business.
Nursing home. When I come, everybody in the nursing home is happy. Or should I say, when I leave, they're all happy. No, but I spoke to this woman a bit, and she really didn't tell me what she did. She didn't want to say, but she was involved in the medical field in her own country, which was one of the Russian Baltics, one of the Russian states. I don't remember which one. And unfortunately, here she couldn't practice what she knew how to do. So she cleans. She's an orderly. She's a nurse's aide.
Mm-hmm.
And I met another one from Egypt. Same thing. A nurse's aide who was very well educated. But
I heard she used to take care of King Tut.
Yes, that's why she's sick. Ladies and gentlemen, I guess
we've been on too long, folks.
I don't see any callers.
So we are going to, I think Felix will play one more song, and then we'll wrap it up.
Always one more song. Goodbye there, Miss Rika. And the next one we got after Rika is Way Beyond. The name of the song is Contact. Contact! They're from the United Kingdom. All right, here we go. They're going to be, I think, a little bit different. They say they're electronic, whatever that means. What do I know about music? I know if I like it or not.
That electric bass.